Hey, what's up, my sweet little peaches? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on Rob Rants, and or possibly Rambles, but most likely a bit of both, we're going to be talking about my feelings on Duviri. Now, I know it's been a while, and I have gotten your messages about, where have you been? We miss you. What are your feelings on Duviri? I even ran into one of you guys in real life, and that was really, really sweet. But I figured it was the universe's way of saying, get off your ass and make this goddamn video already. So we're going to be talking about it. Now, I have been chatting on stream about it over at twitch.tv/agayGuyPlays, but I did want to take a little bit more time to really crystallize my thoughts about how everything made me feel, and I think you'll see a little bit more of that thought process deeper into the video. But I did want to kind of start things out with, a very simple set of questions. Do I hate Duviri? No. Do I think it's a good Warframe update? Definitely not. It is a very complicated topic, but I figured let's start off with the positive things. Now, of course, this is going to be an art team carry, and with Miss Rebecca at the helm, it's going to be gorgeous. And she absolutely delivered this beautiful, fantastical world. Dare I say, it is probably their most beautiful update to date. Like, the skybox is fantastic, the way it shifts with all of the emotions, the structures, even just the structure of the place itself is like freaking gorgeous. The way they integrated opera music, let me tell you, the first time that I heard that in the actual game, I was like, woo! And it was traumatizing for absolutely everybody. But I was just like elated. I was like, wow, this is absolutely stunning. And don't even get me started on the horse. Like, I didn't think that I could care about a mode of transportation, but maybe give it like a life. Cause, like, don't get me wrong, I love Arcwing. I hate K-Drives with a passion, as well as Necromechs. And not even Marilena made me care about stupid K-Drives. But oh my god, that horse is amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love the way that it moves, the sound that it makes. I don't know, it just adds a lot to the Duviri experience, and it just feels beautiful and like something I could get lost in. So you can kind of see where I'm like, I don't hate the Duviri experience completely. And for anybody who knows me, they know that I hate fishing in general in video games, but I really did like mining. And there was a lot of time that I've spent just running around mining shit on all of the different planes? Open worlds. Let's call them open worlds. All of those different places. And I felt like going through Duviri in the, I guess not the lone story, but the Duviri experience, just doing that solo, because I was sick when it first came out, was actually like nice. It was like a chill experience. However, I don't necessarily know if it feels like it's a Warframe game or a good addition to Warframe as a standalone. I think it's kind of nice, and it shows what the dev team can do. But as a part of Warframe, not so much. It's beautiful though. In addition to that, one of the things that I thought was really intuitive from the dev team was the fact that the difficulty is very well balanced, because, and this is how I know, because I was in my like, I'm on medication and I'm trying to get better, and I wasn't paying attention, and I went ahead and got into a Steel Path lone path, whatever it's called, the mission where you do the mission with the big worm thing. I didn't realize it was a Steel Path mission until like the very end, where I was like, oh, we got extra shit. I just thought the worm was different. Okay, I was out of it. I was sick. I was just going. We were just doing. We had lost a couple people on the way, but I was like, well, this ain't hard. I thought that it was really, really well balanced. Because even when we go into the circuit with the Steel Path, I know that they got rid of some of the weird multipliers that we have for the regular star chart, but when I thought of the Steel Path, I thought of the Steel Path that we knew in the regular star chart. But the Duviri Steel Path is actually well balanced for the randomization that occurs, the fact that you're not able to use like your optimal stuff unless you chance into it. But because of the fact that the decree system is there, and the Steel Path is a little bit you know, made more accessible, I actually thought that they did a great balancing job with that, which was not something that I thought of until I experienced it, and I was like, you know, that's good job, you guys. The other thing that I do want to mention is I actually really enjoy the decree system. I enjoy the fact that, you know, we can kind of randomly piece together like these bonuses and buffs that we can use on the drifters and the warframes, and we can kind of craft different styles of experiences. Like sometimes you want to go full gun. I actually have been doing a lot of full gun on Duviri, which was not what I thought I was going to do. I thought it was going to be very hack and slash. Hack and slash is fine, but me personally, the Sirocco, whatever it's called, the like charge mechanic on that with like the reload bonus, you know what I'm talking about, the 200, 300, or 400 bonus on the end. It's fun. It's fun, and I like it. Especially when you get that one, which is like if you get a headshot, like you have a chance to spread the toxin there. Ooh, that's very effective. I like it a lot. I'm just putting it out there. Decree system, very, very good. However, we have reached the fulcrum. We have reached the pivot point of this story. The pendulum is now swinging the other way. So, I was experiencing Duviri and I was having a fairly good time. And then something happened to make me absolutely hate the entire experience. I was very excited, because as I had loaded into the, you know, cave, and, you know, I had opened up more options for, like, potential warframes and guns to come up, I'm like, okay, cool, I have more slots. And then I got a really good warframe. I couldn't remember which one it was, but I was like, ooh, I get to play with X, Y, and Z today. Let's pretend it was, like, Titania. I didn't get Titania till, like, later on, but, you know, we're just pretending, okay? And then I went up to my primaries, and I was like, oh, that's a good primary too. I was like, yes, they got a good primary for me now. And then so I went into the melees, and I was like, this is gonna be a good run. I get to use this one. I get to use this secondary. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a lot of fun. And then I caught myself using the phrase, I get to use this warframe. I get to use this primary. I get to use X, Y, and Z. And I stopped. And I thought, I get to use these things at any other point in the game. Why am I getting so excited to use them here where they're literally being, like, portioned out to me? Like, this is absolutely mind-bendingly Stockholm Syndrome-y stupid. You know what I mean? Like, literally, I can go into any other part of the game and experience it the way that I want to. But however, this part, they wanted to introduce randomization. And let me tell you, I recognized then at that point that what I had been doing the entire time is letting the game randomly decide what limb I couldn't use. And then jumping for joy when I'm like, oh great, I get both of my feet and my right hand this time. That's amazing. I will never be happy letting the game hinder me. And I thought to myself, I was like, that's what the game is doing. It's making it stupid for me. Because literally I could go anywhere else, anywhere into the star chart, and choose these warframes and have a good time with these warframes. Do you know how long it's taken me to get a Gauss run? And here's the most effed up part of it. I got Gauss. I was so happy. I'm like, okay, cool. I can like zip around. I haven't been able to use him yet. Yeah, the rest of the team, they didn't like their warframes, so they all left. So my choice was either to solo the rest of the circuit, which, you know, it's not the most difficult thing in the world, which I do have to kind of commend them. The game modes that they choose for the Endless, they have put on the right health for the defense targets, the right health for the excavators. It's just the right amount of time to be doing all of the activities. The balancing is fantastic. I love it, love it, love it. However, when I sat there and I'm like, okay, so am I gonna just keep soloing because everybody else wants to leave because everybody else got a crappy loadout, or am I just gonna leave with them and then cross my fingers that I would get a good run next run? that's not a good feeling. Like, and if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, there's a reason behind the randomization, and I'll get into it maybe in a future video, but I want you to keep in mind that DE is owned by Tencent, something along that lines, and another very successful brand that Tencent owns, of course, is Riot and League of Legends. If you can put together the random use of available characters and what they're trying to do with that, you probably get the picture, but there's been a lot of mirroring that happens between those two properties. Anyway, now I know what a lot of people are going to be saying. They're like, oh, DE really wanted to make this a roguelite. It was a roguelite experience. That's why it's so random. I need you to pause there. Because let's just remember that if we're taking a look at very famous roguelites, kind of like Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, what else do I have here? Enter the Gungeon, Nuclear Throne, all of them, they let you pick your starting character. So the whole, oh, it's random because of roguelites, that's BS. The only thing that's random in roguelites are the modifiers that you pick up along the way. You do get to pick your starting characters. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. But I mean, if you really wanted to have the randomization discussion, what I would suggest you would do is you go into the Warframe select screen and you close your eyes and then you scroll your mouse up and down and then you randomly pick one you click, and the one you click is the one you use. And guess what? Just by doing that, you have prevented everybody else from being dragged down and not being able to use the Warframes that they wanted. Congratulations! We just solved all of that. And that's where I spiraled, right? Because I'm frustrated. I was like, this is so stupid. This is the dumbest thing. Because why did they need to introduce programming time? Okay? You have to understand, people took the time to make this cave. People took the time to introduce the randomization feature into the little pedestals that they had going. This was development time that they could have been using for anything else, right? I'm spiraling. I need to breathe slower. But you know what I'm saying? Like this is like a pointless thing that they added just to make things, I hate to say it, just less enjoyable. It's not to make things more difficult, because they have a good grip on balancing and all of that kind of stuff. But, you know, and other Tencent-y things that maybe we'll talk about. But like I was saying earlier, I mean, you could get bad rolls where you just get terrible Warframes, and then you get terrible weapons, and you just say, okay, I'm just going to do one wave and go. Or you can be on the opposite end of the spectrum and you get really good waves, but your team doesn't want to stay, and you have to make the choice. Do I stay in solo, or, you know, do I try to come in for another one? Or, this is the part that hurt me the most, I think. I got a really good, well, I wouldn't say a really good roll. It was one of those ones where I was like, oh, this could be interesting. I had Zephyr with her airburst, which, you know, could suck in some stuff. And then I was like, ooh, we got a Redeemer Prime. I was like, okay, cool. And then I was able to, like, set up all of these decrees, and the decrees were, like, popping right for melee. And it was, like, this really nice synergy that I will never probably be able to put together again in Duviri, because I can't, you know, guarantee that I'm going to get Zephyr, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to get Redeemer. You know, I mean, the decrees, they'll work themselves out. But the reality is, I was like, okay, so I get to have fun this once, but I can't have fun in Duviri again with that setup. And a part of me is just like, well, maybe I'll go play somewhere else. So that was definitely one of my big issues. And, you know, I'm going to put this out there. I'm not here to make DE money and solve all of their problems. But, you know, if you want to book me for a consult session, you know where to find me. But, again, I'm not in the business of making money. But I will throw you this one bone. Because I was thinking about it. How can we fix this, still keep the caves, still keep some randomization going? But I think that DE should potentially combine the second tiers of intrinsics and weapons when you get the intrinsic bonus, like an extra Warframe and an extra weapon or whatever for the cave. Combine that into one, and then replace the remaining higher tier with the ability to pull in items from your current loadout. So that way, at the very least, you can have your current loadout, and then you get bonuses for using the randomized items. So you can either get no bonuses with your current loadout, or you can select from some of the randomized items and either get like damage bonuses or like, you know, things like bonus intrinsics or bonus decrease, just something, you know what I mean, to entice you to play with the random shit that they set up for you. So that way, you know, little solution solved for you. Now the last thing that I do want to talk about with all of this, because I'm coming down from the frustration of all of the randomization, but I want to talk about the Drifter, because I don't care about the Drifter. I had to play a 2-hour intro into Duviri, and I don't care about the Drifter. I need to repeat this. There's a part of him in the New War, didn't care then. I thought that maybe I would care in Duviri. The storyline? What is this? What is the storyline? Because really, all this leads me to is it all in his head? Is this so he is the Child King that's also an asshole, so he replaced the Child King with himself? And then does that mean that all of the other people in Duviri are also like reflections of himself, his sorrow, his rage, his envy, all of that kind of stuff? Like that's all facets of himself. And if it is that, why do I care? And what does this have to do with Warframe? And that's why a part of me is like, do I think this is a good Warframe update? No. I don't think this does anything to push Warframes forward. I don't think that this does anything to push Warframe's storyline forward. And who knows, maybe down the line it'll tie into the story. But so far, and don't get me wrong, because I do have to put this out there, I've experienced plenty of side stories that I think definitely add to the world of Warframe. Not Warframe, but like the world of other media. And I'd be like, ooh, that was a really good side story. Like, I feel more fulfilled watching that. I don't feel fulfilled with this storyline. I don't care about the Drifter. And in addition to that, I feel like he is a shoehorned in character for everybody who did not like the fact that operators were kids. I think that they were just pandering, you know? Like people say, they were just checking off a box. You know, he's our token, you know, man or grown-up protagonist that is extremely boring that we have to have in the story, instead of letting it be interesting and weird with the mother-child dynamic, you know? I'm just putting that out there. But that's kind of currently how I feel about Duviri. I think the only thing that I'm really, really enjoying are... I can't even say I'm really enjoying them, because I feel like they're a little bit of a chore. But the Incarnans, I love me a little Incarnate action. Ooh, the first time I fired my Lado Prime Incarnate, I about lost it on stream. I was like, all is forgiven. All the things that I've had to go through, everything is forgiven. I have my Lado Prime Incarnate, I have my Skana Prime Incarnate. It all feels fantastic. I lied, because that was fleeting. But I think that in Duviri, that is... or at least the Duviri update, not necessarily in Duviri, but through Duviri, the only thing that really pushes Warframe forward is the Incarnans. Beyond that, the rest of the update is not a Warframe update. It's a Duviri update. And it's kind of frustrating because, you know, they had said before that they are aware of the fact that they tend to make grind islands. These completely separate pieces that don't tie in very well into Warframe. They're not integrated into Warframe. Now we just have a completely different character, a completely different storyline, which may just be all in his head. I don't know. Well, I kind of do know, but like, what is that, you know? Like, you said no grind islands, we got a grind island. You said you wanted to do things that were integrate things. This is definitely not integrated into anything. It's just weird. And I don't think it's a great Warframe update. Do I hate it though? No. I've had my fun with it. I also have not put any money into it. Which we should probably have the free-to-play discussion again in the future. But I think I've rambled on for long enough. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below about Duviri. Are you guys kind of in the same space as I am, where you're like, I don't hate it, it's got some good stuff, but really, at the end of the day, womp womp. Because that's kind of where I am right now, too. Me personally, I'm sort of worried about the future of Warframe. I'm hoping that we can kind of bring everything together, because the team has shown very great skill in balancing with, you know, all of the things that I had said earlier. Very great skill in designing, you know, it's always beautiful. So all that's missing is kind of like re-steering the ship back into a direction that focuses on Warframe, and you know, getting a good storyline going. Because I don't know, is it just me, or have the storylines kind of been a little in fact, let me know down in the comments below if you would like me to do a video specifically just ranking the Warframe storyline quest things, and maybe I'll actually do some of the side quests for the little Warframes, and maybe we'll go ahead and put that into that video as well. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. Oh, and I'm also very curious, what was your worst set of rolls for Warframes? We could get into it all day about the weapons that you got, but what was the set of Warframes that you got where you were just like, I don't want to pick any of these. I will literally do one rotation and I'm out. Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I maybe will see you again next time. Bye, you guys.